do your best to go to your room, lock yourself in your room, and get out of that city and go to the next assignment.
Absolutely.
And I'm saying that not just when it comes to fraternizing with someone trying to get with you in a physical way, but it's those conversations.
Yeah, you get quoted.
You get into these conversations,
It always starts with
and
conversation.
preachers don't understand that a lot of times when we're trying to get into our room, it's because we don't want to be involved in the drama that comes with conversations that happen and people who want to ask you, tell me about Clack.
Who you tell.
Yes.
Or what you know about what's going on with the vote, or you know. So it's like, you know what? So that I don't lie and say I don't know, or just so you don't trigger me to pull me into a conversation, or so that you don't use my presence as evidence that I said something that I never said. I just want to go to my room.
I don't even like taking pictures with everybody.
Oh yeah,
You're right, man.
Because what page am I being posted on, and what's no. Yeah.
Can I share another do? Well, I didn't share one do. I gave a don't. Here's a do though. And this is especially for those of you who preach a lot. You really are itinerant. Don't become so mechanical that you cease to be spiritual.
Yeah.
What I mean when I say that is, of course, sometimes God will give you a word, and what I preached in Detroit, they haven't heard it yet in Arkansas and Virginia and other places. And so sometimes you will hear us preach the same thing in different places, but you don't want to become so mechanical doing that.
Same way.
Right, that you cease discerning what God is saying specifically to that house. You know? And so stay spiritual enough that God can download and share with you what that house needs.
Can I give a practical do?
Yeah.
And it's very practical. Very practical.
Take a bath.
Get you some Altoids and whatnot.
Yeah.
But very practically, if you can, in an integral way, try to at least cover your expenses.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
I know exactly what you're saying.
If that pastor, church leader asks you or invites you to raise an offering, again, in an integral way.
Right.
I'm not talking about, that's a whole nother conversation, the gimmicks and the
that's what I was
games
about
and the
to say.
Facebook prophecies.
That needs to be explained.
No. If you can do it in an integral way, inviting people's faith to come to another level, it's always a blessing if you, going back to what we said earlier, if you asked or they assumed and flew you on a nice flight. They didn't put you at a Motel 6, even though they did leave the light on. They put you somewhere decent. They fed you at a nice restaurant. It's always good, if you can, to at least make sure they did not take a loss
because of your presence.
Because of your presence.
And you said it. And don't lie on God to do it.
Don't lie. That's the biggest thing.
Don't lie to the people to do it. Do it very honest, very practical. And I'm gonna tell you, and I'm the way, and I love the way you do it, Mark. I think you're a great example of this. I'm honest. Listen, this cost. This took a lot to get done, and let's sow into it or invest into it to make sure that all expenses are covered and paid for those who can. Some people can, and that's okay. But if you can, God has blessed you to be a blessing. Let's do that.
And to those of you who will hear that and have an issue with the preacher receiving that second offering, you pay for everything else.
Hello.
Oh.
You sow into, I'm going to say it, you sow into everything else. Disney is brilliant. Every single ride that you go on, as soon as you come through the ride, as soon as they service you with that ride, you
Gift
walk
shop.
right into the gift shop where you can sow your money for what you just experienced or what they can give you next. And so, let's stop tripping with that. Let's honor the word of the Lord when it comes forth.
I have a request. There was a don't, and I don't know if Pastor Mark won't mention this don't.
What is it?
I don't know if I want to say it. I'm just going to give you a little something. If it jogs your memory, great. The Lord wants you to talk about it. If not, then you won't. But there was a don't you lived out.
You lived out?
He lived it out. He was not the guest speaker. He was the host pastor. And a don't happened. And he said don't.
Fill us in, Doc.
I did. No, wait, now that's happened more than what? What you talking about? Text me. Because I feel like I do want to talk about it. I just make sure which somebody's the same situation.
Hold on, let me go right.
If you're thinking about what I'm thinking, about.
Let me go right to the lake. Hold on.
Go to the lake.
Here it comes. You're going to see it and you're going to know immediately. Now, what does that mean to you? Now, I know that means something. And I bet y'all
That's
know.
a good point.
Now, if you don't want to, I get it.
Now I'm one to. I've been one to.
I don't get it.
Been holding this
Jog
in.
my memory, Doc. Come on.
Oh, he getting ready to.
He fixed his shirt.
He did.
Here's what it boils down to.
I think I know what you're talking about.
You got to read the room.
Okay.
You got to know where you are.
Yeah.
And you have to recognize that what might work in one circuit doesn't automatically work in another. So if you're in a church that literally just moved into this space, they just bought this furniture, keep your feet on the floor. Put your hands together. Keep your feet on the floor.
Yeah.
There are some settings where we welcome.
Was that hard for you to fix?
I remember.
Because like the moment was it was hot.
I remember. And you snatched
In that moment, did you feel like, Mark, I got to protect what we're building? What made you adjust that on the spot?
There's a crack there right now because of that.
And I'm aware. Now, let me be very clear. Amazing individual. So good at what he does. I love him. But because we're talking in general terms, as a rule of thumb for everybody, you gotta know what works where.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's not. You're a wrestling fan. You know that you can't do a leg drop everywhere.
No, you can't Stone Cold stun everybody.
You can't stone cold stun everybody.
No.
Some people need a suplex. Some people need a rock bottom.
Yeah.
That
I'm
ain't
Some people
so
need a
proud
frog
of you
splash.
for this right now.
That's
You understand
not
what I'm saying?
edifying anybody.
So I'm just saying, and again, there are some places this will kill
Right.
Yeah.
every time, but you got to know where that place is.
We need to do a conversation on what's too much.
That's a great.
Showing you right now.
No, but I'm with Green. not just that, but what about, because I don't have all of the vocal acrobats that you guys have.
Yes, you do.
What I'm curious about is, what about a closer that's just closing too much or too soon? What can you help the closers with?
I think Jacobs. First of all, these are closers here.
Hold on, sanitizer. Don't do that, sanitizer.
These are the two best closers.
Let's calm down. No, that's not true. That's not true. But I think Jacobs is masterful at incorporating the art and the foolishness of preaching.
Yes,
so to
sir.
speak.
Yes, sir.
And I don't mean this in a negative sense, obviously, but there is a certain theatrical element of what we do. You know, we're compelling, and there's a musicality, especially in the African American preaching tradition. And to me, Jacobs walks that line so masterfully. He's got one-liners, so to speak. Like, there are people that can sit there and preach parts of his message with him. When he gets to grab your neighbor, it's teenagers all over. Grab your neighbor, man. Yep. Right? They get it. Anybody know God with anybody?
I love it.
Like he has those. Yeah. But I can't preach the whole thing word for word
on, man.
because everything is a.
That's what I'm talking about.
Like and when he does it, it's an organic kind of flow. I think that it becomes sideshowish.
Yeah.
When I got to do too much,
to get a response out the people.
And when it's all gravy. It can't be all that. See, what I like about everybody at this table, there's going to be a powerful word.
That's what I was about to say.
Given before any celebration. It's going to be something meaty that creates its own gravy.
And it doesn't, and you said something, Green, in the beginning that we have to say. That just because it's what we do or what we're known by doesn't mean we do it everywhere we go.
That's right.
So true.
And I'm going to say this, and hear me well. I think that those who are gifted, I feel sorry for. Whether you be the gifted prophet, whether you be the gifted singer, whether you be the gifted preacher, the gifted musician, because the world or the crowd will keep you locked into your gift when you can't flow in the spirit.
Wow,
what they need to know is that we're not Beyonce or Patti LaBelle, so on and so forth, where every time Patti gets up, she's going to sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow because it's a part of her set. Our gifting may come with who we are, but it's not a part of our set.
Yeah, right.
So many times you may get someone say, you didn't do Grab Your Neighbor by the Hand tonight. Well, I wasn't led by the Spirit.
Right.
To do that. It didn't fall in place. And I think that prophets, singers. A lot of us who function in gifting, we're often bound by the expectation of the people.
Yes.
So now it's the pressure to
It's
perform.
the pressure to perform. And so what happens is, even the prophet, if you don't prophesy, the people say, oh, you're not a prophet.
That's right.
Well, God didn't give me a word to prophesy tonight.
But if I succumb to that pressure, now I'm on Facebook.
Yeah.
Looking at the church's page.
So I can make sure
I think that's so and so.
So I can make sure I have a prophetic word.
Keisha. Okay.
Yes.
Sound like Simon the Sorcerer.
So now I got to prophesy to Keisha. And Keisha posted, I had a rough day at work. So now I see you in your cubicle crying. Lift your hands. I see God's getting ready to replace your boss with you. There's a promotion. Lift higher, lift them higher. Because I got to perform or I'm not going to get booked again.
And we got to know that what got us there was God. I think you said this in the beginning. It was never what we do added to who we are, but it's because it's what God gave us. But it was God who opened the door. It's God who closes it. So we got to make sure that we're steadily working for God. And I think it goes, something you also said, Nate, is that the word has to be the focus.
Absolutely.
What is the substance? And I think that if the gravy or the acrobatics outperforms the word,
Come on, man.
then it has become too much.
The problem is we're looking for the high that we got the last time we preached.
Yep.
The response we got the last time we preached. And the problem is you've made it more about you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is a very dangerous place to find yourself in.
Yep.
We're looking for the response of the people. And the Lord spoke to me one time, and I ain't trying to get deep, but he said, you want to know what you and some of your colleagues, he told me this years ago, y'all's problem is, y'all like my glory too much.
That's good.
You're preaching so that there can be a collision between me and them, and instead of you ducking, you're getting in the way.
Yep.
And we've made it all about the response that we get from the people. It ain't necessary for people to scream that loud the whole sermon.
That's right.
But no, we like getting that response because it says to me.
Validation. It's validation.
Absolutely.
And if we're talking about the preacher, the truth of the matter is, many of us, the only place we receive that validation
Is at church.
is in that pulpit. For a lot of us, we don't get that at those that are bivocational. We don't get that at work. Don't nobody stand and clap when you walk in your job.
Right.
The night manager is here. Come on, let's honor him as he comes.
The night manager. That
Come on.
is funny. Is there an applause?
As he makes his way to fries. Come on, let's get. So now I got to make myself an apostle and get a chain from the cart in the mall.
Yeah.
And buy all these vestments that I can't afford. Because I am preacher, hear me roar.
Yeah.
I'm looking for that validation. Some of us don't get it at home. We don't get it anywhere else.
And we got to know that somebody said this to me. When we come to hear a preacher, we come to hear a word from the Lord.
That's right.
An old lady said something to me that has stuck with me. As a young preacher, I battled with that. I battled with hooping more than giving substance. And I think all of our ministers will battle in certain areas. And that was my battle. I can admit that I was chasing the hoop. And a mother of the church said to me, she said, Minister Jacobs, she said, you're anointed. The hand of God is on your life. She said, but next time you preach, less thunder, more lightning. That has stuck with me. And what it said was, give us more revelation than you give us performance. Less thunder, more. Don't make a lot of noise. Do a lot of revealing. And sometimes revelation is not as loud.
It's good, man.
And so we got to learn how to give people more lightning and less thunder.
Those are the humbling moments right there.
Ooh, and it got me together, but it changed me.
Yeah.
It shifted me to say, if I never give the thunder, if I gave the lightning, I gave them revelation in darkness.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
man.
that's what we need.
I've been telling our preachers at home, I'd like you to divorce yourself from the applause of people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If that's how you figure out you were good or not,
Yep.
we probably need to break up.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Real word, it's really from God oftentimes when it's kind of left them a little unsettled, upset.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Everything can't be a shout.
Nah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not doing my job right if you shout. I say it like this in our church. We probably going to shout every Sunday, but we're not going to shout every sermon.
Oh, you got that right.
He's been good. Praise team. Yeah,
I
give him
love
the
that,
glory.
man.
Shout. We can shout every Sunday. but not every sermon.
You got that? And as a pastor,
Yeah.
you don't want them shouting every
No.
Sometimes you want that to be the somber leave. They're leaving.
Now that's a conversation we need to have, I guess, at another time. But we need to talk about the difference between preaching as an evangelist
And as a pastor.
versus
on, man.
preaching as a pastor. Because you can't be evangelist every Sunday at your church.
Sound like we got a part 2 coming up.
And to be honest with you, most Sundays, especially when your church gets to a mature place, most Sundays.
It's a spirit.
It is.
It's a demon over there.
Most Sundays will become more turning your congregation to a right place.
Yeah.
I preach and teach to turn the congregation towards the vision or where God is leading us. And so every now and again, God will jump.
So you said something. Do we need to do a part 2? Because we got to go eat.
I am,
preachers.
and I smell the food.
Tune in next week, guys. Part 2.
Part 2.
Tune in next week.
Hit share, hit subscribe, hit like, tell everybody, tag everybody. This is Preacher Talk. Pastor Nathaniel Green, Apostle Brandon Clack, Bishop Brandon Jacobs, Mark Moore. We love y'all. We'll see y'all later.
Grace and peace.